Hello and welcome to another video. In this one, we're going to be talking about syntax of Python and, in my opinion, one of the more annoying warts of the syntax, problems, things that I wish were better, but it's way too late to fix now. And we're talking about tuples. And specifically, we were talking about the syntax of tuples. Now, often you'll see them written as, a sequence of numbers with comma separation and parentheses around them. And if you print them, you'll see that it also prints them with parentheses. But what you may be surprised to learn is that these parentheses are not actually part of the syntax, and they're really just used as grouping in this case. For instance, if you write the same thing without the parentheses, you still get the same result. This has some really annoying side effects. The first, or at least the one that affects me the most, is when you're dealing with linters and code formatters, the AST doesn't represent these parentheses either. So if we were to do ast.parse x equals 1, 2, 3 is going to give us a module. So we need to do body 0 dot value. Yeah. Dot column offset. So it says that it's at column 4. So 1, 2, 3. Wait, no. Wait, maybe it's right now. Maybe they fixed it. Okay, anyway. Usually the AST will represent the position of a tuple as its first element rather than the parenthesis. Oh yeah, this changed in 3.10. So maybe this problem has been fixed at least. But there are a few cases where the parenthesis can be useful as a grouping statement, and that is when you have a multi-line tuple. So 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, this is 0 index. So yeah, of course this is point. So this is one case where the parentheses are necessary in order to preserve the implicit line breaks here as not the end of the statement, but instead a continuation via the parentheses. So that's one place where you will need parentheses to represent a tuple. Another is if you need it inside of a function call. This differentiates it from being positional arguments to instead being a tuple that gets printed. Of course, this comment doesn't do anything here. It's just a show you that if you were to add another argument here, it'll get printed separately. So that's another case where parentheses are necessary. The other is actually part of the syntax for empty tuples. So this is the one case where it does actually use parentheses. This also has some really annoying side effects, and this is probably the part where it's caused many bugs in production and is probably the problem with the syntax. Like nothing I've showed so far is really that bad. It's just a little bit annoying. But I've seen this bug so many times, probably 20 or 30 times at various workplaces now, where you will say, I don't know, we'll just use min, sure. You'll call some function and pass it values, and then you'll accidentally have a comma on the end of it. And it's pretty hard to see this comma in syntax. We are obviously seeing it very easily right here. But what this silently did is, well, not so silently, turn this into a tuple because the parentheses aren't part of the syntax, and so you'll see this is just a tuple here. I often see this refactor when going from like a function call that has values in it to then copy this code out, assign it to a variable, forget to remove the comma from the argument, etc. There are a few ways to avoid this problem. One of them is to use a code formatter that avoids this. For instance, black will always put parentheses around here. There are also some linters that will lint against this so that you can prevent this pattern. But yeah, pretty easy mistake to make. Oh, or just use a type checker. A type checker would say, yeah, you probably didn't want a tuple here. Especially if you're passing on x to some other function that requires an integer, it's going to be like, why did you pass tuple int when I expected int? But yeah, that's syntax of tuples and how they're a little bit quirky, and the parentheses don't matter. So something to look out for. Try and avoid this problem. Hopefully you found this useful. If there are additional things you would like me to explain, leave a comment below or reach out to me on the various platforms. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.